This is you, a guy with a pistol and an ATV who has been dropped into this game with no knowledge of how it works whatsoever. The director hands you a mission to go on a watchtower. You go to the watchtower and quest done, but then you look down and all of a sudden you're back at the lobby. You have died, so you might be asking yourself, how do I beat the Dino? Well, it's not exactly as simple as that. It takes time, skill and a lot of dying to get good at this game, but once you do get good at the game, you can start dominating dinos in each Primal Pursuit round you play. Let's get on with it, shall we? Once you first start Primal Pursuit, you'll get the ATV and pistol. Let's start with your first car. The ATV has 39 speed, 200 health and 50 fuel. 39 speed is pretty bad, since every dinosaur is faster than you. However, you will hopefully be going against just T-Rex with the occasional Pachy and Raptor. 200 health is also pretty bad, as even the weakest dinos can beat you in 2 hits, but also gives you some sort of second chance. 50 fuel could be better, but most cars will have at least over 60, so this is pretty mid. My best advice is to keep your distance. Never go up close to a T-Rex or pretty much any dino. This is because the T-Rex is actually not that much faster at 42 speed, which means it is harder for you to catch up if you keep your distance. As a result, the T-Rex will struggle to kill you as long as you stay away. With other dinos, pray that you don't get seen, I guess. ATV can be good against slower dinos like T-Rex, but gets destroyed in most situations. On to your first weapon, the pistol. The pistol has a firing rate of 0.25 seconds, does 248 damage, and contains 8 ammo. Now, although it is the free starter weapon everyone starts with, the pistol is actually pretty good. With how much it can deal in just 2 seconds, you can get some good damage on the dino with a full round and drive off. If you're wondering, I said 2 seconds because its firing rate means how long it takes to shoot a bullet in a gun, which for the pistol is 0.25 seconds. It has 8 ammo and 8 times 0.25 is equal to 2.00 seconds. Another thing about the pistol is that it does 124 damage per second. DPS is not a major factor in this game, but should still be taken into consideration, as this means each second you shoot with the pistol, you do 124 damage. Say a T-Rex has 2000 health. In just a bit less than 17 seconds, excluding reload time, you can kill that T-Rex. This DPS, although not the best, is pretty good, especially for just a starter gun. However, there are some cons to it, such as low damage overall. If you didn't know, your damage gets halved whilst in a car, so a full pistol round will only be 124 damage out of the 248 that it is meant to deal. This is a pretty bad number when you have guns such as AK-47, which do 300 damage in a car and is pretty cheap. So when shooting, make sure you get out of the car at an appropriate time. For example, if the dino is chasing someone else, get out of your car and start shooting. Paired with a good car, the pistol could be great, but there are definitely better guns out there. With your newfound knowledge of the ATV and pistol, you could go try it out yourself. Remember, you'll always have errors in your gameplay. Nobody is perfect. For the average player, each survived round will give around 50 bones. This number could be higher or lower depending on how much damage you did you survive, and more. However, getting bones from just rounds can be tedious, especially since there are other ways of getting bones. I'm going to focus on just one method though, quests. Daily quests can give a varying amount of bones, but will usually be over at least 200. These quests include dealing damage to the dino with oil barrels and mines, escaping the round, or win as dinosaur. I'll go over 3 of them, as win as dinosaur is pretty straightforward. If you get deal damage with oil barrels, they are all over the map, usually to the side of the pathway. Some can even be paired with mines to create a trap for the dino that makes it take a lot of damage. However, oil barrels do not count towards your damage in the MVP stats at the end of each round. Along with oil barrels, the mines can be found around the map too. Usually, you are going to be looking for them in structures for mines, whereas some can spawn on top of boxes around the map. One tip about the mine which can be useful is that you can place a mine next to your car, get in your car as your animation takes place, and you will place the mine wherever your car goes. Usually you are tasked with placing multiple, so you will probably have to progress with this quest in multiple rounds. This escape however many times quest requires you to escape the round via helicopter or boat. In each map, the escape area will always be in 2 places decided by 1 minute 30 seconds left of the round. They are always at different ends of the map, but some are harder to get than others. Jungle docks and cabin docks is pretty easy to get to. Both are helicopter landing sites and don't have many obstacles towards them other than containers that stay for the cabin docks. The jungle and canyon creative names I know, are a bit more difficult to get to as they can be easily more defended by the Dino and have some obstacles towards them, whilst also both being helicopter sites. Cavern and Canyon Fortress are probably the hardest landing sites to escape. They have a massive hill which could slow down cars by a lot, and the Dino could defend pretty easily. With Cavern, it is the only boat site in this game that has two big hills in which your car can get easily stuck due to the rocks on the hills. Overall, escaping can be tedious and hard, but for the quests, it's worth it. Keep in mind that you do need certain levels to continue daily quests, as there is a limit for some reason. Main quests can be a mixed bag of buy this, get that level, do this, etc, etc, etc. They all have varying awards, but they're mostly good for starters. It only gets a bit bad when you get to the buy blank quests, since to progress through the main quest line, you have to buy said item with your bones. However, they aren't too annoying compared to some of the other quests, which require such specific circumstances to complete, like the double tribal Spino MVP one or whatever it was called. Now that was an annoying quest to complete. Most of the rewards are bones, and they get bigger as you progress through the quest line. So there are some really specific quests, but they are usually buy this, get level, or something else. Usually the buy this quest just requires you to buy a certain item from the shop, e.g. the Jeep. The get level quest needs you to have a certain level, which you can check above your character's head or on the bottom of your screen, which also shows how much XP you need to get the next level. You usually get XP via playing rounds or quests. Now, levels 1 to 20 are pretty easy to get, but it gets pretty tedious once you're allowed in the pro servers at level 35. When you get a very certain quest, e.g. use a tool, it should be straightforward and not too much of a problem. One thing to note is that the quest line is broken, and quests cannot be accepted by the escape around or cavern quest, I believe. So, this is one of the many ways you can get bones in Primal Pursuit, and it's fairly easy once you have better items than the pistol and ATV. But how do you choose what items will fit you? Let's get into that. There are many things to consider when choosing a new loadout. What is your playstyle? What device do you usually play on? How many bones do you want? There are a lot of ways to go with this. You could go straight for the best items, which would take forever, but you do you. Or you gradually get better cars and avoid ones that are a waste of bones. I think the best way to do this is just get better cars that fit your needs at the moment and grind up until you have a late game car you enjoy. But let's not get too far into the future, you're still new to this game. Choosing a new car can be fairly harder than getting a new weapon. You have to take into consideration what has the best speed, fuel and health, whilst not knowing about hidden stats such as how good the handbrakes are and how good torque is. I have a short explaining drifting and torque, which is probably going to be up in the top right if I remember. So what's the best for you? A few factors must be considered, such as your playstyle, which we'll mainly focus on. There are many types of playstyles, but most come down to two styles, defensive and aggressive. Defensive player styles consist of players that will shoot at the dinosaur and drive away to make sure they don't get killed. Aggressive playstyles are similar, but way more attacking is involved. Defensive players are more likely to use glass cannons such as a snowmobile or banana car. Aggressive players will use more tanky vehicles like Jeep or tow truck. So think about what would work best for you. I'll give you 3 seconds. Done? Alright, let's go back to our main focus, choosing your new car. In my opinion, getting the Jeep first is a good idea as it has good fuel along with a nice chunk of health. Its speed is slightly better than the ATV, but it makes up for it in other stats. After that, I would get the hybrid and banana car to see which are better for your playstyle. For example, if you like the banana car, you know you're more of a defensive player, and vice versa. I go more into depth with this with my video about starter cars, which will also be in the top right of your video if I remember. Remember to pair your car with a good gun to make it really work. This is on the topic of a good gun. This is easier to get as you can base off how good the gun is off of stats only. Pretty much the only thing that can bring down a gun is reload speed, which isn't displayed in stats. But overall, this should be easier to choose. What you want to think about is how good your gun will pair with your car. For example, pairing a banana car with a light or heavy sniper can be a great idea, as they work in defensive playstyles. So basically, just see if your gun pairs well with your current car. In my opinion, I would start with the AR-15, as it's just a better MP5, which since it has the same stats, except for more damage. Then I would get AK-47, since it does loads of damage for a starter gun. I also have a video for this that you can watch in the same spot that I've said twice, if I do remember. Now that you have bought and chosen your loadout, what's next? That's it. There's nothing next. Go out there and defeat your first dino. Remember, if your loadout really isn't working for you, always experiment with different items and see how well you do with those items. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe, join the Discord server, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!